In a courtroom bright and bold, Andy marks the stories he told. With a finger pointed high, he's the ace, the reason why. Through objections loud and clear, truth and justice always here. From the witness stand to the judge's chair, and he's ready beyond compare. Andy Marks and Felix Wright fight for truth with all his might. Meaner spirit and Maya by his side, together they'll turn the tide. He's defending the accused, while baby Gumshoe is confused. Solve the case, bring the truth to light with Andy Marks and Felix Wright. Felix Wright.
I have more questions. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that'll implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain that there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Well, it's almost time. Okay. I have to do a different voice for Mia. Well, it's almost time. Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Oh shit. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how should we say, tired. So is Maya actually still locked up? Or is this guy bluffing? I got a feeling he's bluffing. Because, like, they said that Maya left. Unless he caught her. That's the only thing I can think of, is that he caught her. Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gifts, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer dude, who is that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did you know just get longer? Interesting. Why is Francisca not on the other side? Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engarde. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor? Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now, what is it? Prosecutor, Miss Von Karma has... Miss morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? What? What the fuck is going on? What? Dude. This trial is fucking bonkers. What? Shot? Somehow I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't know that answer. I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. What is going on? Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and I am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engarde. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. This is getting fucking insane. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial is over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. No! Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Now then, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Here we go. This case is getting good. The murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Excuse me. However, later we found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendants went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, let's press. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. and ended around 8 p.m. and there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during the 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yes.
Who is Adrian Andrews? Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about?
She's the defendant Matt Engarde's manager. She was a really pretty lady, sir.
Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she'll grace us with her presence.
When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to go get Mr. Engarde. After visiting his room, she went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir.
I see. And that's when she found the victim's body.
The cause of death? Wasn't that because Matt Corrida was stabbed in the chest? Mr. Corrida? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention could be drawn here to this bandana. He was suffocated.
Banana?
His bandana, sir. The thing wrapped around his neck, sir.
Ah, yes. I see. His banana-scented bandana.
Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death.
We have a very crafty murder on our hands.
So he was strangled to death and then stabbed with the knife. Interesting. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The jamming ninja didn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh, how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar, and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought about that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory then.
Ooh, there we go. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
So the guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel?
Yeah, that's right. So it had nothing to do with the case after all.
Excuse me.
I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Engarde? Because there was reason enough to suspect them. Here it comes. Looks like Edward's back in full swing.
Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir. Matt Engarde and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. They thought the other guy was in his way. That's the motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's a jamming ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja's costume and was found in Mr. Engarde's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant... Fuck, when I have a picture of Matt's room, right? That knife's from his dinner plate. That knife's definitely from his dinner plate. The defendant bought the knife for the crime. which makes it a premeditated murder.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on the handle, though the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Yeah, that's his dinner knife. Then there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood?
Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's, sir. What?
All this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet? Right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. It's nice to be facing Edgeworth. We haven't faced Edgeworth in like a season. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Engarde won, did he not? Yeah. But you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Corrida was always the one step behind Mr. Engarde in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end.
That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted about losing.
Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Engarde was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's side, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill him at all.
Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective?
It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Hey, no, not you too, Miss Edgeworth. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No!
Now, detective. Let's continue with the testimony.
No, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. About what I was saying. Hello, anyone? Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jamming Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you tell by just looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared the blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir! Alright, I knew it. I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped where the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal.
That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat.
When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Corrida. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button.
So it was almost immediately after the murder. The
police didn't have free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So is the defendant the owner of this knife then?
There's no way that this was a premeditated murder, even if he brought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't a pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great at walking around with it either. Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective just said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Engarde's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble.
Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix?
Let's save real quick. Let's try the knife. Yeah. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle on this knife. You'll see what I'm talking about. Huh?
It has Gatewater seal set into the handle.
Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated.
Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been predetermined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property, but there's no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough to not realize this. But I didn't. Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from?
Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corrida's room.
Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table.
There's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Engarde. Yep. Especially what was on top of his table.
There is something missing, perhaps.
There is something missing, perhaps. It is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Engarde's knife was missing. Ugh. Mr. Engarde had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown. It means the evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, the gavel of his will be ringing out of the sound of the feet.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to the court?
The tomato juice, maybe? Yeah, I mean... There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance and one only.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us.
You may not present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. His face is broken, his makeup is all over the floor. There were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that's sitting on the top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say?
Well, yes. It is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours. Mr. Edgeworth?
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion?
You don't need my opinion. Because there's no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been shocked, so shocked, that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Please stop. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Oh, there's no way. If I appear weak here, the trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think that this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it's been thoroughly expected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints. There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims, nor the defendants, rather. They were one of Adrian Andrews. I have to see something.
What?
Excuse me. What? This is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Ugh. Can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. Ugh. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth, I think that the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdicts.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution is yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Edgeworth thinking? What is happening here? Ah, old bag. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Ra-cha-cha-cha-cha! Gotcha! Wonder what happened to the calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy! It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? We should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was a wicked witch of the witness stand.
I'll tell ya, this time, I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm gonna tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta! Oof! Shush! I'm talking about the dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam.
No, please. By all means, interrupt her. Now! Please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job.
being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone. Look, everyone is crazy of that Engarde saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I had no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in the real man, Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Ajipu. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep an eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Engarde. Matt Engarde. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Okay, so how did she not find the body? Like, just like brainstorming here. If Matt killed Juan, hypothetically, and she saw Matt exiting Juan's room, why did she not just go in after him and see what was up with Juan? You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense to me. Okay.
So Mr. Engarde came out of the victim's room.
See? It has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help. I'll have you know, it was for the lead-headed samurai show. I even took a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Anyways, besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when he wants to hang around the victim's door. Something you were interested in? And just what was that? It's not something I just can't go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And, Edgipoo, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is the thing she was interested in?
I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But, should it prove relevant, we could always have it appended to her testimony later.
Looks like we shouldn't just force her right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Oh? Then would you tell the people would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corrida's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born, so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why, ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report.
That's hilarious. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. That sort of information has been carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man just came out of Juan's room. He was...
Yes, he was...
Ah, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Ugh. What I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right now. Well, I guess I could tell you, since he was a bad boy anyway. You saw my client? Are you sure about that? Yes, see? Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw someone! Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail. You don't need to tell me about his face. You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. The right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling and shiny teeth. His teeth were shining? Well, he's shining all around in this week's pinup poster, dearie. This week's pinup? Why do you... I mean... I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night. What? Engarde's face is the same no matter where it is, you know? You whippersnapper.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you'd like to point out what part of that testimony was important. You don't really have to put it in that way to get me to say.
Mr. Wright, there is something more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I think I just wasted his good favor. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, real bad.
But that's how the human mind is. It has a tendency to jump off topic.
She stayed on to a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she?
But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right?
It's because you're not the one who has to question her. Let's press her again. So, what was the person's clothes? Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really. As if something like that matters. But it does. Now what was it? Ah, yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Man. Didn't he say that he was still in his, Nickel Samurai outfit? Right.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
Yes, it was. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you'd like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where this is going, but alright, witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, as if I must. I actually want to press her and get the middle one as well. See if maybe Oh, wait a minute. Oh. Let's read that back again. Guess I'm gonna have to press a little harder on this one. There's gotta be some sort of huge contradiction I could find here. It was on his Hakama. That would have implied that he was still wearing his Nickel Samurai outfit, right? Let me save. Let me just see something here. Yep. Miss Oldbag? What? Don't say my name for no reason. You know what this is? Ah! It's button number 2 on the German Ninja's costume! Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She's identified it in a single glance. Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this! Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta! Wow. She really is a die-hard fan. To want a button covered in blood. The button was discovered on Mr. Engarde's body during a full body search. See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Engarde. It was caught up in the pleats of the Nickel Samurai's Hakama pants. See? And Engarde is the Nickel Samurai. Witness? Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you just say that the defendant, Matt Engarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? She's so cocky with her little gun, right? Every time she does it, though, I just can't help but laugh. Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based off of what they wear. If I were the trendiest oh my god, she's yapping. Here we go.
Now hold your tongue still for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engarde, the man, but Mr. Engarde, the Nickel Samurai?
But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Fucking stop. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a new controller this weekend. Edgy Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Engarde! Engarde! Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony show right after the crime, you know. He must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. He didn't even know he had a fucking show. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think that there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins today. I told you there was no way it was anyone else.
How do you know?
Because I said so. And what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
I need to remember. Do I have a report saying that Juan didn't know? Let's just press. Would you please get on with your testimony? What's your language, young man? What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? A striking figure by the sea. Standing all alone is he. He's the nickel samurai. She's actually singing. Someone to help my poor ears.
Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket?
Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and stick to just the facts. Okay! You promise, right? Right? I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, old chum. Come on, fucking Christ. Be a little bit more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket. Now he's not? Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be a Judge I wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Rat-ta-ta-ta! Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Thus, when did the court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is the man that was inside that costume. Is that enough? Just got a rare achievement. That's funny. And why would it be that? That way. No, excuse me. That way, no one can see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage for him that... There's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think that the costume would make him stand out all the more. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing to... Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it! Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the German ninja? Of course it included him. That's why when Engarde came out of dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway... So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai? As showy as ever! Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one.
Huh?
There's a contradiction in your testimony sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. Well, I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. There we go. Okay, yeah, what his fingerprints, yeah. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case?
You don't have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
So is that what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at, and whose car are we driving?
If Mr. Engarde was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all the previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
Okay, so I was on the right track. I was just pressing it at the wrong time. He probably took his gloves off before he began to stab it. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At the time, the defendant held no intent of murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off.
But the murder still did take place.
It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
Let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? I think I need a little more time on this one. So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? I don't think there are any problems. I can't see any real problems with this theory.
But if you let Edgeworth's theory stand, then we're one very large step closer to a guilty verdict. Look at the court record again, take another shot at it.
Yeah, I just have to think about it one more time.
Mr. Wright, please make your decision soon.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Why would he have the knife? This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engarde was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife, this was used by Mr. Engarde at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Corrida, I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent of to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. The knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
To frame him. Or to hide the murder method. That could go either way. That could really go either way. Because if you think about it... But they wanted up finding the strangling anyway. Maybe the scarf had some significance. It's to hide the way in which the murder was carried out, of course. More of your nonsense. To take another good look at the autopsy report, the victim already died from strangulation. The killer tried to hide this by stabbing a knife into the victim's chest.
But doesn't the autopsy admit that the cause was strangulation?
Well, yes, the real cause of death was easily discovered. Then I say the knife did a terrible job of concealing this fact. Oh. Okay, good thing I saved. Okay. I thought it was either or. I thought it could have been either or. It's to frame my client, Mr. Engarde, of course.
To frame?
Aren't you enforcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if it were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on the knife. Ugh! Witness! Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Jipu?
Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Engarde with the Nickel Samurai, his character, on TV? But I mean, I really can't do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting for then? That's top secret for anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
The way you think, you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of?
So Olbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe. Phoenix. Maybe the Olbag was waiting for that person. If it's who I think it is, Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag. You were waiting for this person to come out of the room, weren't you?
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Engarde's manager.
Well, why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... Ha! I see!
The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing.
Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews, without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then.
Witness? What in the world are you?
Watch out, Phoenix. I have a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a secret source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
But what for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do this. I really don't want to do this, however. I simply cannot let this point slide.
I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready! This is gonna take the wind out of you youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this, really. It's not like we're 10 years old. Alright, let's see the secret information. That Engarde is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. Okay. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but me, you and me know yet, okay? Okay.
The defendant sent his own manager? What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip.
And
isn't there a saying the truth is never pleasant? Never heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip.
Should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right! Engarde is nothing but an average, foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Damn. Alright, Phoenix. Let me see something here. Isn't there like... Okay. Alright, let's just press. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true! That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss A.A. But the name of the magazine says it comes from Gossip Land. What? Are you saying that gossip is just a pack of lies? What do you know? I suppose you'll swear that the news is 100% true. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate the news and gossip.
Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright.
Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Anyway, Engarde will never get me to say touche. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No. I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, Engarde thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof that Mr. Engarde did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. Now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything. You can't do anything right. You're right. I can't do anything. But boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny. Show me what you've got. Can you show me proof that Engarde didn't? I don't have any proof. Like, I feel like there might be something here, but like, what would it be? Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to offer. See? Just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You could just give me a pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want. Silly boy. You and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles for you anyway. So what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a lesson, something you youngins need.
You were gonna teach her a good lesson?
I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this.
No, stop!
Well, it was too bad that the woman didn't come through the door that night. Oh? Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. That's it. It's a secret. Even if I drill the hole in your brain, you'll never figure it out. How in the world did that old lady bat get such a secret piece of evidence? If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got the secret information, you won't go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me! Why do I have to do this? What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. This witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless blabbering.
As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on the line of questioning.
Where did Oldback get her inside information? There has to be something I could use to figure it out.
Sounds like another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it?
But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we could catch her on. Yeah. And when I find it, I'm gonna press the heck out of it. I think this is Lotta. I think this is where Lotta comes in. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it, witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire this secret information, isn't it?
Take that! Objection!
You call that proof? It looks more like proof of spite of witness towards the If you have nothing to back up your claims, they're no more valid than gossip. Oh God. Hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret information, isn't it?
Take that!
She stole the fucking camera. That's hilarious. The investigative photographer, a lot of heart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Thank you for the hydrate, bud. Oh, that's it. That's the note. No! You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
Then you're the one who took Mrs. Hart's note.
I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Engarde. She said so herself. On guard! I'm his sidekick! She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? No problem, you're doing so many voices. Thank you. We're gonna finish up in about 10 minutes or so. Or whenever. I actually kind of want to finish this part. If we could finish this part today, that'd be good. I was only trying to help out like the angel that I am. It's only one piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come up with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well,
it was only one piece of paper. I suppose we could overlook this just once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Let's pile on more. I want to see what pile on more pressure does. If I let up her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. If this is correct, so why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it. I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Poor Edgeworth having to deal with this old bag. Miss Old Bag. I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Miss Old Bag? The note was with a camera. Indeed, inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me.
Why? Why? Witness?
What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is she a fucking thief? Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love, and I borrow things from people.
You think your definition of borrow? I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that women's business card, and then when I noticed it said, Slimeback Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire, well, when I saw that, I had to know what sorts of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff! Check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court.
Alright.
This is the Nickel Samurai.
See? I told you! That's the guy, I swear!
This proves that the witness is not lying earlier about this matter. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engarde clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is
the defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? This court will consider them before we close. Do you agree with this photo? Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took. There's... There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we'd all agree that there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Here we go. Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
Oh man, this is for all the marbles. Oof. Is there anything out of the ordinary here, guys? This looks like this chess piece, maybe? But like... Besides less flowers, not much. Man, I don't think I could find anything. You said less flowers? It looks like there's less bears. Wasn't there a whole bunch more bears? Wasn't there like a significant amount more bears? But I don't feel like that's it. Was this, man, was this taken before or after the murder? There's so many questions. Fuck, I have no idea. Oh man. Now that I'm looking closer, I think it's his left pant leg on the floor. Right here, right? Or right here. That looks like a rip, doesn't it? Oh, or no, that could be a wave. In the feet area.
Take that!
I would like to direct the court's attention to this area right here.
What are you pointing at? His ankles?
If you can see this person's ankles, that would mean one thing. However, you can't. Oh, that's right, yeah. If you can see this person's ankles, that would mean one. That would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does that mean?
The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engarde.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate. With actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Yeah. Good call. Please pay attention to... Please pay attention. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks! You can see his socks!
Exactly. However, in this photo, Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. Yay, no ankles. There's only one explanation to this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Uh-oh. I have a feeling I know who it is. Well, it might be. Alright. I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Hmm? What is it?
Edgeworth is unusually calm today.
That's true.
He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride.
Along for the ride?
What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all.
He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Engarde, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this. What? Right? I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Engarde. In that case, who is this a photo of? I mean... Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? One, the world points you to her. For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engarde's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engarde that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item, a certain knife, with Mr. Engarde's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who was tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Something tells me this is a red herring.
Order! 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 It looks like this trial has taken a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then!
Oh no. Oh no.
We shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Raise an objection?
Now then!
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony.
I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to the unexpected development.
Tisk tisk. Unexpected developments. I think you underestimate, Your Honor.
And what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What? Yeah, I love Edgeworth's new song.
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle's far from over. Exactly.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
What a fucking crazy place to leave off, huh?